Hello, dietitian bosses. My name is Libby Rothschild, and I'm here to chat with you about some really important topics during this very difficult time. I wanted to start off with a quick welcome video to just chat with you a little bit about the topics that we're going to cover. I'm going to walk you through a very simple PowerPoint presentation. So firstly, I just wanted to say that during this very challenging time for everybody, I understand that the dollar's gone down in Australia and that many of you are feeling frustrated and anxious. So I want to challenge you to shift your mindset. I know that it's difficult for all of us, and maybe somebody that you know, maybe your immediate family is affected, or somebody that you know in the healthcare system or yourself is extremely affected. And so I hope that today's conversation could be a casual way for us to really connect and go back to what we are here for as registered dietitian nutritionists. We are here to serve our audience, and we're here to help people. And so I want us to go back to that today, to go back to some basics and talk about how we can troubleshoot together, and we can focus on a resolution to switch to virtual, right? Take our clients to virtual, and how we can really focus on sales and marketing and help our customer, help our potential client or our current clients, and give them a really good experience. And so what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of just very brief background about me. If you're not familiar with me or my work, my name is Libby Rothschild. You can find me on Instagram at Libby Rothschild. I have a podcast called Dietitian Boss. After I talk just very briefly about myself and just give you a little bit of context for those who don't know me, I want to go right into giving you some practical tips about how you can switch your business to an online model, whether you are now or whether you want to or you're not sure. I'm going to give you some really great tangible steps that you can apply. Lastly, we're going to go over a topic that I find is very tricky for many of you, and that's the difference between sales and marketing. What do you focus on? What's most important? In closing, today's brief, video presentation is really truly about helping you shift your mindset, giving you some information to help keep you focused, and then most importantly, I want you to take the tips that I share with you and take action. I want you to follow me on Instagram at Libby Rothschild, send me a direct message, and if you're ready to get support during this difficult time, I want you to apply for my services. You can go to libbyrothschild.com and apply to work with me for coaching, and you can also send me a direct message and we can chat more there. So let's get into it. I want to tell you a little bit more about myself, and then we're going to go right into talking about virtual and sales and marketing, my favorite topics. Three steps to market and sell. We already went over the welcome note, and then I'm going to walk you through how to move your business online in 3 simple steps. And finally, what's the difference between sales and marketing, and what steps can you take to make money faster? We went over the welcome note, and I want to just tell you a few more quick facts about me. For those of you who don't know me, again, you can follow me on Instagram at Libby Rothschild. My podcast is Dietitian Boss. I'm a business coach. I serve registered dietitians around the world, including Australia, Canada, Dubai, all the way from Mumbai to New York City. I help female registered dietitians. I help them grow a 6-figure business using social media marketing. I've worked with over 1,000 dietitians all around the world and showed them how to market and sell in a virtual capacity. I created Dietitian Boss, which is my brand. I help you become a dietitian boss. So you don't graduate a dietitian boss, you graduate a dietitian, right? Once you take your exam, and I show you how to become a boss. And what that means is you learn how to market and sell in a way that truly solves problems for your customer. You're adding value, you're clear with your messaging, you learn sales. All of the techniques and tricks that I teach you are exactly what I follow, and they work across different countries and different niches. So whether you're in gut health, intuitive eating, recovery, weight loss, children nutrition, sports performance, whatever you do or are interested in doing, the way that I teach my proven method, it's transferable across different niches, different ages. Whether you're a student, new dietitian practicing for 10 years, or retired, my method is proven. I went from a clinical job where I made $55,000 a year. That's me in my clinical office. I now make over $100,000, well over that, per month in my business. I practice what I preach, and I teach you exactly how to attract the type of client you want to work with in an online capacity. I don't use ads. I don't have any kind of fancy techniques. I just do social media marketing via Instagram and my podcast. I create community. I talk about important conversations, and I solve your biggest problems. I show you how to be a leader and a resource and create impact for your audience. And I have hundreds and thousands of dietitians who are serving as role models, and you can listen to them on my podcast. I air it 3 times a week, new episode. And also I post on Instagram right now 3 times a day. I work with dietitians in Australia. This is Amy Lee. You might know her. She helps women with fertility, and she helps them overcome, she helps them with recovery so they can get their period back. You can make sure to check her out in our podcast episode if you want to learn a little bit more about how my method is working in Australia, as well as Jackie, who's a writer, and she's done a great job showing up on social media by following my method as well. And again, there's thousands of more dietitians you can check out in my community. And then finally, Dietitian Connection, I actually grew their feed. We worked together. I worked for them in a consulting capacity, I believe last year for 6 months to help grow their feed. And we've just had a really great relationship together. Marie has served as my coach for quite a bit of time. And so it's been really nice to be able to network with the Australian community. I want to talk about moving your business online. Now that we've gotten to meet and you know me, you understand what I do, right? I eat, breathe, live, sleep sales and marketing. This is what I do all day, only for female dietitians. And so I want to show you how to move your business online. The benefits of moving your business online include low overhead, and it's extremely convenient. So maybe you already do some online now, or maybe you don't do virtual at all. And I'm going to chat about both of those different situations and what they can mean for you. So firstly, I just want to say, when you do online, there's no office, so you don't have to travel. You don't have to worry about rent and overhead for the office space. And then you can create hours of availability, right? Your working schedule on your terms. So whether you have kids or maybe you're juggling multiple jobs, I know many of us have multiple revenue streams, right? And you're managing things, you can set your hours a little more conveniently when you're virtual versus in an office. It's extremely convenient for the client because the client can not only live in any location throughout Australia or wherever you're serving, right? But also it allows your client to be able to have some flexibility with their ability to schedule the meeting. And many people like that because they save time as well. They don't have to travel. So there's a myriad of benefits when it comes to virtual, but it can also feel very scary even if you're not used to it, you've never done it, or if you have an in-person business and you feel that you're not ready or you're scared to try out this medium, this style of counseling. I posted this on my Instagram. It is a quote saying that patients believe telehealth services can meet their needs as effectively as in-person visits. Patients report that telemedicine visits resolve their concerns 85% of the time versus just 64% of the time for brick and mortar appointments. There's a lot more information on telemedicine and telehealth from the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. If you want to check that out, there's so much research showing that telemedicine and telehealth is widely accepted. I think at this point, it's our opportunity as dietitians to take our mindset and reframe how we're thinking and feeling and really help us push and promote virtual sessions and virtual packages in a virtual business. And so I just want to remind you that people and patients and clients, they're accepting it, they're wanting it, it's mutually convenient. And it's time for you to really be promoting and pushing this medium of service. So how do you do it, right? So you've seen it's beneficial for both parties, you and the client, and whether you've done some of it and you're scared to pull the trigger and go 100% virtual, or you haven't started yet and this all feels overwhelming, I'm going to break it down for you. So the first step is you have to promote that you do virtual. And so if you're promoting both virtual and in-person, then it only makes sense to stop promoting in person. If you want to drive traffic to a specific location, a specific avenue, right? The location being virtual, the avenue being, telemedicine, telehealth, then that's the only thing you promote. So stop promoting what you don't want to sell. It seems obvious, but so many of you promote both and wonder why you're not filling virtual. So stop promoting in person if you want to drive traffic to virtual, and promote consistently. Use all of your verbal cues and then your online, your digital touch points to promote the fact that you're doing virtual sessions. And then the second step would be setting up the basic tools. Now, if you're afraid of technology, I understand. I've been there, done that. But this doesn't have to be complicated. And so I'm going to walk you through a couple of the very basic steps that you can take to set up a virtual practice. When it comes to promoting, you want to tell your customers as a recap that all you do is virtual. And if they try to fight you or push you, you just have to stand, you have to double down on what you want to do as a business and let them know virtual is how I'm able to provide you with the service that my business provides. And then again, you want to match up your marketing, meaning your website, your digital touch points such as social media, with your virtual office. If you want to drive traffic to your virtual office, you have to promote that you only do virtual sessions. And as a reminder here, this is made for me by Fine Print Food. She's an Australian dietetic student and designer. And so teamwork makes the dream work, right? So virtual sessions are mutually beneficial. And when you are able to just get in the mindset of helping the client and being able to still provide the amazing service that you do, but in a different setting, or doing it more, right? Offering virtual 100%. Just want to remind you that that is something that they want and they will be accepting of it. And it can be a fantastic opportunity, both for individuals and in a group capacity. I run my business 100% virtual, both for single sessions and for my group programs. Sales versus marketing. The last setup that I want to mention here is how to actually make this work. So we have two options. Electronic medical records system. I know in Australia, Clinico is popular. In America or Canada, we've got Practice Better. There are so many different tools that are EMRs, electronic medical records systems, right? They're HIPAA compliant platforms. And so you can use those for telemedicine and they'll have video integrated with the service. Or you could use a separate standalone entity like Zoom. And that's what I use. I'm recording this presentation today via Zoom. And Zoom, it's a free tool under, I believe, 45 minutes, unless if they change that. And then you have to pay if you're using over 45 minutes at a time. And it is HIPAA compliant if you pay for Zoom. So the free version is not HIPAA compliant. Again, double check all these things because regulations and rules do change very frequently. With that being said, you can either use an EMR, electronic medical records system, or you can use Zoom. Those are your two options of how you're able to do telemedicine and telehealth. Zoom is very simple, and a lot of my clients use EMRs, all different types of electronic medical record systems, and they seem to work just fine, and you can use them in the most basic capacity. You don't have to do anything complicated to just be able to hop on a phone or have somebody schedule a visit. And you can even do manual scheduling if the online scheduler freaks you out. And then you can build up to using online scheduling. So manual scheduling means you would ask the prospect or the client or the potential client, you would say, can you do 8 p.m. on Monday night? And then once you get the written okay via email, then you can set up the appointment manually or add a calendar note, or ideally it would be an automated online schedule. But again, if you're in that version of your business or you're in that phase or you're starting and you're intimidated, you can do manual scheduling before you do online scheduling, but online scheduling is ideal to move towards. Sales versus marketing. This is one of my favorite topics. How do you make money fast? How are you able to, during these difficult times, be able to still provide value? And I think a big part of this conversation is actually you. It's your mindset. And if you believe that you can sell and you believe you can add value right now, then you can do it. My clients are still making sales. My clients in Australia are still making sales. I'm still making sales to Australians. I put 2 into my program on Friday. Just this past weekend, I enrolled 2. And I'm still enrolling into my programs. And my clients are. And it's possible in a difficult time to still be making sales. It starts with you and the conversations you have with yourself. Do you believe you can do it? And then, how are you improving your mindset on a regular basis? Even just showing up for this presentation is a way for you to improve your mindset. And I want to encourage you to tell yourself that you are capable and able to improve your mindset and add value and give a service that's valuable for your clients. Sales is selling a good or a service, right? So a good could be a digital product, a recipe book, an online course. A service could be a one-off session, a package, a bundle. It could be a group coaching program experience. And marketing is getting people interested. That's my favorite part. Marketing is the act of letting people know you exist and building, solving problems and building community. And sales and marketing go hand in hand, but they are quite different. For sales tips, you want to know your buyer. You want to be really clear with who are you marketing to? Who is this person that you're trying to sell your good or service to? And when you know who your buyer is or your ideal client, it becomes easier for you to initiate a dialogue that speaks to them on their language. Secondly, you want to make the offer, whether you're selling a good or a service. Let's just say for this example, it's a service, right? Maybe it's a one-off session, a bundle, or a package of your time. You want to make what you do and what you're selling about the client, about the potential client. And the more that you're able to make what you do about them and how you can solve their problems, that is a better way to sell. And lastly, you want to ask questions. You want to find out how can you do a better job? What is it that they want? What are they truly struggling with? And when you really dig in and find out what the person in front of you needs and wants and desires, you have a better or a stronger likelihood of being able to really connect with them and relate with them and sell to them. So it's really important, again, in summary, know your buyer. Who is this person that you're talking to? And then make the offer and the conversation, the dialogue has to be about them. And finally, ask questions, deep questions, to really get at the root of the cause of what they're struggling with so that you can connect what you do and how you do it as a service provider with what they need. And the more you can make sales a process and a system, it becomes repeatable, it becomes second nature, and sales is a very helpful, beautiful thing when you can reframe your mindset and know that you are truly helping people. Marketing, on the other hand, again, is the act of client attraction. So it's when you are bringing people to you and they're interested in what you have to sell. So my tips with marketing include solving the biggest problems. So many of you, I see this all the time, you want to solve small problems. And so in business, you have to solve the biggest problem. For example, I know in Australia, gut health is super popular. And so when we're talking about IBS, IBD, SIBO, you're solving huge problems, symptom management of bloating, constipation, diarrhea, right? And so when we're talking about big problems, we want to get really clear with the root of the issues. What is your potential buyer, your ideal client? What are they struggling with? And how is what you offer a solution to what they need? And when you continuously market the biggest problem that your ideal client faces, you're one step closer to being able to market better. And those who market best win. Those who market best set themselves up for a foundation. And, it is the dietitian with the best marketing that is able to make the most money and impact, hands down. So when you learn how to do this and you create a process that works and that's repeatable, you will set yourself up for success. And whatever that means for you, whether it means a six-figure business, virtual, online, a multi-six-figure virtual business online, or maybe it's a side business that you want to do. However you define success and the goals that you have, and creating your business and hopefully using social media market to attract clients, you will be more successful when you learn how to market. Without marketing, you have nothing. You do not have a system or a repeatable process. With that being said, when it comes to marketing, whether you're doing in-person marketing or social media marketing, it's really important that you show up. I have a hashtag I started on Instagram called #ShowYourFace, and I encourage dietitians to use that hashtag and tag me, show up in your stories, show up in your feed. And when you're able to be present and show your ideal client who you are and that you exist, you have a higher likelihood of that person building rapport and connection with you, and that's going to help you sell to that person. So when you build what I call the know, like, and trust by showing up consistently, that is you putting down the marketing foundation for that person to come to you and trust you. And when you build trust, you have a higher likelihood to sell and serve. Finally, probably my most important tip is to define your ideal client. Who is the person or the people that you're marketing to? And when you're really clear with who that person is and you get specific, it's easy for you to create content on social media and solve problems when you know who you're talking to. When you're really clear about this person and their needs and their deep rooted pain points, then you can create a community and dialogue in the form of words, in the form of visuals, in the form of video, right? You can create a community for this person or these types of people, and that is going to help you build that marketing foundation. And when you build a strong marketing foundation, sales comes naturally. So maybe you're wondering, well, what do I focus on? Because sales is the act of closing or selling a product or service, where marketing is client attraction. So maybe you're asking yourself, where do I start? So the answer is that they're both important. Sales and marketing are absolutely key components of you growing your business and hitting your revenue goals. Again, whether that's part-time, full-time, six-figure, multi-six-figure, a million, multi-million, right? And so what you need to do is develop a strategy for both. And I like to start with marketing because marketing is a foundation. And let me explain. When it comes to sales, sales can be considered a quick win. So when you're selling and you're in maybe prospecting, which means you're identifying a potential person, a buyer, you identify this human and you go to them. You might cold call them randomly, just call somebody, or you might show up in their direct messages, or you might send them an email, right? So when you're doing that type of, it's called prospecting to a person you've identified as a potential buyer for the service, the good or service you offer, when you stop doing that, you stop selling. So sales is a short-term quick win, but marketing builds a foundation. So when you build a foundation and you solve problems that your ideal client experiences and you get really clear with what they want, then selling becomes natural and easy, and you don't have to cold call. You don't have to identify people and show up in their inbox because people come to you. And when you sell because people come to you versus you having to go to them, it becomes easy. And that's what I like to do. And that's what I show my clients how to do. You can combine prospecting with selling from a good marketing plan and strategy. But when you really focus on marketing and you lay down that foundation, and you have a clear, solid plan on social media of how you're going to attract clients because you're solving the biggest problem and you've talked to them and you've done some research and you know what they want. When you do that, people come to you ready to buy. And there's like the best way to build your business is to open up Instagram and find that you have 10 people that applied to your program. You have 5 direct messages from people who want to know how they can sign up. And it's not because you reached out to them first. It's because you laid down that foundation, that strong foundation to solve their problems and be a resource. And that's what I show dietitians how to do. So to take full circle here, when you're talking about your virtual business and you want to either transition to virtual or you want to just start off the bat from virtual, it's possible to do that and to attract clients into that offer when you've laid down a great marketing foundation. And maybe you're asking yourself, well, how do I know if I laid down a good marketing foundation? And that's a great question. And my answer would be, have you met the goals that you set? If you haven't met the goals, then your marketing foundation is not strong enough. And if you haven't set goals, then you got to start there. So many dietitians I talk to have not yet set goals. So they don't know how much revenue they want to make. They're not even clear how much revenue they're making now. There's no judgment for how much money you're making now, and there's no judgment for how much money you want to make, but you need to define those numbers. So let's say you're making $2,000 a month now, and you want to make $10,000 a month. That would be a fantastic starting point for you to define what your monthly revenue goal is. And when we work together, I help you define what are the specific action steps that you need to take to go from making $2,000 a month to $10,000 a month, given that you need to build a strong marketing foundation and support that marketing foundation with sales skills so that you can enroll clients, potential clients, into an offer that's virtual, that makes sense for them, it's mutually beneficial for you. And if you're really clear with defining your goals, your revenue goals, and the action steps associated with hitting those revenue goals, you have a higher probability of achieving what you intend to achieve when you're really clear. So with that being said, focusing on sales and marketing is important. Sales is a short-term win, and marketing is a long-term foundation. When you build the foundation and you learn the sales skills along the way, you set yourself up to, improve your mindset and get more clear about setting revenue goals. And additionally, you set yourself up for success, however you define that, in terms of impact, because you've reached more people that you want to reach, and in terms of revenue, because you've made the amount of money that you intend to make, that you desire to make, and that you know is possible to make. And I want to end this by saying, dietitians around the world, whether they're new in practice, they're still in school, or they've been in practice for 5-10 years, or maybe they're close to retirement, they are able to make the money that they intend to make when they take sales and marketing seriously, lay down a foundation, and the way that I teach shows you how to build a foundation on social media marketing so that people come to you. I don't teach you prospecting, I teach you marketing, because selling to people who come to you ready, that's called a qualified lead, is a lot easier than when you have to just randomly go out and find people on your own, and those people don't know who you are, they don't like you yet, they don't trust you. It's a lot, better for the longevity of your business. It makes a lot more sense to build that foundation. Now, it does take some work to lay down that strong marketing foundation, but when you do, you're setting yourself up for success in terms of a virtual business, success in terms of satisfaction, and success in terms of role modeling for the future generation of dietitians. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're interested in learning how you too can become a dietitian boss, find me on Instagram at Libby Rothschild. Apply to work with me at libbyrothschild.com and contact me, reach out to me. I want to hear from you.